Hey Internet, it's Cool Cats Club where we watch shows and read books and talk about our theories, thoughts, and analysis. I'm Lily.
I'm Caleb, and today we're going to be discussing Stranger Things Volume 4. So stay tuned for our review, our reactions, and our predictions for Season 5. So, what were your favorite things about the new season?
I think my favorite thing about this season was that the stakes were a lot higher. I
Yeah,
think
I
that,
agree.
hmm so I think that the storyline matured in parallel with the characters aged.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely got like a lot darker this
hmm
season.
Yeah.
Everything everything was a lot more intense.
hmm
The It led to a lot more suspense because the stakes were higher, like you said, but it wasn't just them trying to save their friend anymore. It was like the whole town, the whole world, even.
Right. So here's a first special appearance from Nicholas Cannibal Dexter, who was also a fan of the show, and he also really liked how much drama there was, and yeah, just like it took like a much darker twist. I mean the previous seasons had already been dark, I guess, but this really just kind of um took it to a different level. And again, I think why that worked so well is because the characters were getting older, the audience was getting older, and so the imagery and the struggles that the characters were facing also had to mature in age as well.
Yeah. Right, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of shows that don't do that right. Like
Mhm.
a lot of shows that even move backwards in that regard.
Right.
As time goes on, they
Mhm.
get worse, but it's really been maturing with us as
Mm.
we've grown up. Because like I grew up watching this. I was like high school when it first came out,
Right,
15,
right.
16 years old.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah,
been like the last 7 years I've been watching it, 6 years.
I think
I don't
so cuz
2016, I think.
yeah, I think it was 3 years between season 3 and season 4. And
Well, we
then,
can we can pretty much disregard season 3 because that was horrible.
well, that's facts. That's facts. Okay. So let's talk about let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Like season 3 into season 4.
the whole Russian storyline, that I really don't like. That is, it's felt so out of place, so forced and everything, and just didn't make a whole lot of sense. Which is why I was not a fan of the Hopper storyline in this season. That was one of the
Mhm.
things I didn't like, but it was kind of like minor compared to the stuff that I did like. Overall, I thought the season was really good. Probably my favorite season.
Yeah, I'd agree that this was my favorite season, and I'd also agree that season 3 was my least favorite. Um, Again, the Russian storyline was so far fetched, and I know everything in the Stranger Things universe is far fetched, but I thought that was like especially far fetched. And bringing that in, and oh, Hopper's still alive and has to escape the Russians yet again. It was so, I don't know. I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of a cop out for keeping Hopper alive, but then also keeping that like storyline alive, and it didn't need to.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. And it like, I mean, you can't do that over and over again because it makes everything meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no reason to keep him alive, in my opinion. Like he added absolutely nothing to this season, and
No, I.
I that was like my biggest complaint with the season
Mm-hmm.
was that storyline specifically.
Yeah, I would agree. I think really the only thing it added at the end was like in the last episode when 11 and Hopper reunite, which was a very special moment. But I think in terms of 11's character development, again, we're seeing her mature and learn how to navigate like the real world, the Stranger Things real world. And like she was doing that without Hopper, and Hopper not being there was a huge thing she had overcome, which I think is very relatable. But then like being alive and it just I just I don't know. It just didn't sit right with me.
Yeah, like I don't like how like meaningless it is when they just have a character not die when they're like supposed to die. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
The end of that season, Hopper was definitely supposed to die. They should have just left it.
Yeah.
Is
I
similar to like what they did with Max this season, honestly, which is
mhm.
another. That's my other big complaint with the season. I think Max should have
Mhm.
just died. But
I agree. I agree that she should have died. I think obviously the show did, or the season did a really good job with the suspense, and all the way leading up to the running up that hill scene, and then the final scene with Max. Is she gonna die? Isn't she gonna die? I mean, the suspense was just so well done. So like either way, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like I truly didn't know which way it was gonna go, but I do think it just would have rounded out the story better. Yeah, if she had died, and now it's like, okay, like where is she? What's happening? It just seems unnecessary. And also because I think it creates some dissonance again with how high the stakes were this season, and then there not being like any cost to those stakes. So it's, instead of it being like high stakes, high reward, but like it was like high stakes. No, I feel like I'm not explaining that well. But
yeah, yeah,
it
there
didn't
was
sit well.
no payoff to it whatsoever
Yeah,
other than
exactly,
Eddie, who's
exactly.
just the new character. Like they
Right.
do that
Who could,
every
right.
season, new character dies. Everybody saw it
Right.
coming.
Yeah, exactly. Like um I did love Eddie though as a
I liked
character.
Eddie too, yeah.
I think he was a really good addition to the gang, and I think his character and Argyle added just so much comedic relief that was needed.
Yeah, yeah. With the extra suspense, they did do a really good job of breaking it up
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
They the scene where they stole the RV and everything too, that was pretty funny. I
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
specifically laughing at that.
Yeah, there was some really good comedic relief, which just balances out, which made me want to keep watching, because it's like, oh, this is so
Mm-hmm.
suspenseful and sad, but then also there's this really funny character that every time they're on screen, I'm laughing, and so it was a good balance, and they also just like flowed so well into the storyline. Like it wasn't, I didn't think it was very forced. It seemed like a good, just kind of an addition to the gang.
Yeah, they really did, both of them. They both just like fit in pretty much instantly.
Mhm.
Everything
Yeah.
just kind of clicked.
So I want to talk about a scene with Argyle.
Okay.
Okay, the pineapple on pizza scene.
Oh yeah, okay. The big controversy of the
The
season.
big controversy that I feel like I haven't seen too much of that on social media, which kind of surprises me.
Well, that was like a very 2016 argument, you know.
It was, but it still stands. Pineapple should not belong on pizza.
I agree. There are a couple pizzas though where I would put pineapple on. Give me pineapple on barbecue chicken, and Hawaiian pizza is also pretty good.
Okay. Nope,
Other than
can't.
that, other than that, you definitely don't put pineapple on it.
No,
That's
I
just
just think,
cursed.
yeah, it's cursed no matter what. It's cursed no matter what. Could not for me, not for me. But that was also just funny.
Yeah. That whole that whole storyline with them like going into the Surfer Boy Pizza to get the sensory deprivation tank was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny, and that the bribe was weed.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Just, yeah, just again, just the comedic relief that we needed for
Yeah, they were
for
all
something
basically
so.
the same person, Argyle and the other guy
Yes.
working there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that was yeah. Argyle has like quickly become one of my top favorite
Yeah, I did
characters.
really like Argyle. I like all the characters that they bring in for just the season, honestly. They always
Mhm.
like add their own unique thing.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing that I wanted to talk about too is how well done the backstory was for 11.
Mhm.
It really tied everything together, the questions and everything that we still had about the universe and everything that was going on, because there was so much stuff that was confusing
Mhm.
from the previous seasons that they kind of tied up in that whole backstory thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think kind of before they started tying up the loose ends, it was like, okay, so this is just how it is, but we don't have any like reasoning or understanding. This is just like the universe that we're in. So I think finally, like, yeah, introducing some of that and getting a greater backstory only gives greater understanding to 11 and what her experiences and how that has shaped her like current fears and navigating like challenging situations. But also again, and then just like the audience knows, okay, like how did this even happen?
Yeah,
So yeah.
it gave the backstory for the mind flayer and everything, and how the
Yes,
whole
yes.
gate was open and everything, and it just
Yeah, exactly.
pretty
So
much all
yeah,
the questions were answered.
yeah, pretty much. And it definitely tied in like the things from like that we had been introduced in the previous 3 seasons. So that I also really um enjoyed that aspect, introducing
Yeah,
that information.
so that kind of brings me to my prediction for the next season,
Okay.
which is that the Upside Down is actually not a parallel universe, and it was actually like a hidden pocket realm or a pocket dimension or something created by 11 in that moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
I
we saw that it was frozen in time to that
Mhm.
specific day when she
Right.
created the portal.
Right.
And either the producers or the Duffer Brothers or something said that that's actually going to play a big part in season 5. So that's kind of my theory as to where they're going with it.
The time freeze is going to play a big role.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of a teaser for what's coming in season 5, according
Mm,
to them, what I saw on TikTok.
right. The trusty TikTok
Yeah.
machine. No, I think that's pretty intriguing, and I think I'd probably agree with that. Particularly because of the frozen in time thing. I think originally I was kind of thinking it was like a parallel universe that 11 had just somehow connected. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
like you said,
that's kind of how they explained it, especially in the first season when they were talking
right.
about the string theory and everything.
Mhm. But yeah, like you said, now that we have since discovered that this universe is frozen in time from when she sent one like to there, really, yeah, really kind of makes it seem like she's the one who created this world. Like she's the god of this world.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything, if it was a parallel universe, you would think that the time would move similar to the
Right.
time
Right.
in the other universe, but
Hmm. But I think something that what I'm curious about then is like the mind flayer. Was
right.
that something that materialized when 11 created that, or was that floating around and
See, that
some
that I kind of have less of an idea about.
yeah, I
I
don't know.
feel like it
Yeah,
was like maybe like a discharge of energy or something from creating the universe, like
maybe.
a side effect maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be interesting if your prediction's correct, like how that will tie in with the other monsters that we've seen previously.
But there was a scene where Vecna or one, I guess was he Vecna at that point? I don't know. He was either Vecna or one, but
Yeah.
he kind of like organized the particles to form the mind flayer, like
Right.
in the form of the spider that he was obsessed with.
That's true. That's true. So, yeah. I don't know.
That's that's my theory for what happens in season 5.
Yeah. I think that's yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I think something one of my main predictions for season 5 is about like where Max is. So obviously she didn't die, but she's in a like a coma of some sort. So her body's still on Earth, but like even when 11 goes to like try to visit her mind, she's not there. And so that makes me think that like Max's soul is like trapped in the upside down, and like her husk, her body
Yeah.
is still like on Earth. And so I think that's going to be something that like that battle of like reuniting the two or like letting one of them go is going to be something that we see in season 5.
Yeah, that makes sense too, for sure. I kind of feel like Max is going to be used as a vessel kind of for the mind flayer.
Yeah.
I feel like she's going to have some sort of tie to the upside down from here on out, kind of like Will does.
Yeah. That's a good point. Also, so I speaking of Will, I've seen some stuff on social media about he's going to have a much darker role in season 5,
Okay.
which will be really interesting. either like, I guess I'm not quite sure what that means, but there's just been teasers that he's gonna be a big driving force in season 5, which I think is about time, because
Yeah.
this entire thing is like, yes, it's about an 11, but I think it's really always been about Will,
Mm-hmm.
and he in every episode only gets like 4 lines. And
Yeah,
so
that's true.
like my man needs some time. He needs some airtime. We got to know what's going on with him.
They just didn't want to show the bowl cut anymore.
Oh man,
No,
not the
but
bowl
so
cut.
I was gonna say too, like they did tie up a lot of the loose ends, but that's one of the loose ends that they didn't tie up this season.
Right.
So I mean, hopefully it gets addressed, like his connection and everything to the Upside
Right.
Down in the next
Because
season.
even in the last episode they like show he's got like the hair on the back of his neck standing up, like he's feeling the connection to the Upside Down. So
Yeah, he has a connection to the Mind Flayer somehow, and they
right,
haven't
yeah.
explained it yet. And it's
Yeah.
gonna that's something else that's gonna be addressed in season 5, hopefully. If it's not,
Hopefully.
I'm gonna riot or something.
Yeah, I mean, again, they only have one more season to wrap up all of this. So
Right.
they better deliver. Duffer Brothers, but please deliver.
They delivered with this season. I was kind of hesitant to watch it at first because how bad season 3 was, but
Yeah.
it really was good.
It really was good. I think part of why I was a little hesitant to watch is because there was such a gap between season 3 and now. And obviously
Yeah.
COVID had a lot to do with that, which, you know, it is what it is. But I think having such a large gap, I mean, watching season 4, I was like, what even happened in season 1 and season 2? It's been so long since I've even like seen those. So that made it kind of difficult. But I think, I mean, once you get reintroduced into the universe and I started watching, I was like, oh yeah, okay. I remember what's happening.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was for me too. I didn't remember at first. It all kind of came back to me though. But
Yeah.
season 3 was also just it was so goofy, and that was really like my biggest gripe with it too, was just how off the walls insane it was.
Just so, yeah, just so unrealistic. Again, for an unrealistic, universe, but like that just didn't. It also, okay, another inconsistency. So like, right, season 3 was about like the Russians, but there was no like guns ablazing American military operation happening until season 4. Why is suddenly like the American government and the American military like all guns ablazing trying to get in on this, when last year or last season the Russians like took over this mall in this small town? Like where was the military? Where was the government then? That doesn't add up.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's supposed to be that they didn't know about it because they were in a mall.
But then how do they know about 11 and like these kids?
Because they were part of it though for that.
But like why did they, I don't know. I just think it's so random that they chose now to like try to find 11 when like
Yeah,
there's been all this sneaky stuff happening. I don't know.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I just think that was just definitely by far my least favorite thing about this season was that whole mess of a plot. But what was really good about this season was the music. We got to talk about that.
Yeah, the music was some absolute bangers this season.
Honestly, yeah. So I honestly had never even heard of Running Up That Hill
Yeah, me
before
neither.
this season. But it was really good. Really, oh, just so, and that scene with Max really was just such a climax. It was so, oh, just so good.
Yeah, it was really well done. The whole build up to it and everything. I know we
Mhm.
talked earlier about the suspense that they had building throughout the whole season, but they really did a great job of building up to Max actually dying because she was distancing herself for the first few episodes,
Mhm.
and they really could have killed her off there, and we wouldn't have really thought anything of it
Right.
because they were setting it
Right.
up for so long. So that really
Yeah.
added to the suspense of everything. I think that's why everybody loved that scene so much.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Just how, yeah, just the setup, and for somehow that song just fit Max so well. I mean, the literal running, right, running up that hill and running to,
Yeah.
to her saving grace, or whatever. And also, so I looked a little bit into the meaning behind the song, and Kate Bush said it was about like a man and a woman, presumably like a girlfriend and boyfriend, like swapping places because there was like having some miscommunication. And I think that's, I mean, maybe a bit of a stretch, but I think maybe like you could argue like, okay, Max and Lucas were having like communication issues because like Max was distancing herself because she was grieving and, you know, battling the decision she's made around her brother's death. And like if they'd only like swapped places and like properly communicated, like all of this distancing wouldn't have had to happen. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she just kind of felt like her friends didn't really understand what she was going
hmm
through. So
yeah.
that's kind of probably a good way to put it.
Yeah. Just a banger. That's really
It
all I
is a
have to
banger.
say. Yeah.
So the other big song of this season was Master of Puppets by Metallica, and that scene with Eddie and the
Yeah.
guitar, which is also a
Yeah.
really good scene.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That was probably like my second favorite scene from the season, to be honest.
I
But
would think so, and I think that really cemented why I just love Eddie so much.
yeah, we do love Eddie. Gone
We
too
do love
soon.
Eddie.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
No, but I don't know. I mean, Master of Puppets was a fine choice, I guess, but I feel like there's better songs they could have chosen for the
Yeah.
season. But
Yeah. I remember watching it being like, really? But I mean, I think really it was, I mean, it's because I wanted to highlight, I think, like
the
Eddie's
Vecna,
guitar
well, I thought it
playing.
was gonna be like Vecna as the Master of Puppets. Like it's kind of
Oh
fitting.
yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah.
fitting, but at the same time, I would have liked to see like one by Metallica to foreshadow what happens to Max.
Right. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like
They're definitely yeah.
or I thought it was gonna be the Trooper by Iron Maiden because that CD was, or not the CD, the tape.
The tape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the tape that Eddie was holding like in the previous
Yeah.
episode, and I
Yeah,
I thought that would be the song that you would choose, but
well, exactly. That seemed like very perfect like foreshadowing. It
yeah,
was like
exactly.
that.
It's like
So
it's a
that was
tiny detail, but
yeah. But still when the show has done such a brilliant job of making the tiny details really important, you would think something like that would be like blaringly obvious, and then they
yeah,
didn't do it.
yeah,
Like
yeah. If they did it,
but
I thought that would have been like super cool. Just
yeah.
like super cool, something that's not a lot of people would notice. Which Iron Maiden
Mhm.
actually made a tweet about it. I think the
Really?
yeah the well, it was one of those memes where he's like, "Now this is music" or whatever, and they
Oh,
just like
yeah.
tweeted the original picture and said, "Yeah, we agree, Eddie."
Oh, oh. I didn't see that, but that's pretty funny.
It was pretty
But
funny, yeah.
yeah. Definitely some iconic songs this season. But
Yeah.
I think they've always kind of done a good job with music.
Yeah, they have for sure. Like the season 1 there was Should I Stay or Should I Go? That was
Mhm.
always playing. Season 2 it was,
Yeah.
I don't even know what was in season 2, honestly. Do you remember?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but I do remember like just they've done well with their music choices.
Yeah, they have. It's really good for the
Yeah.
like time period too. They pick stuff that's
Mhm.
relevant to the year that's going on too.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. I think the Duffer Brothers do a very good job like highlighting the like the pop culture and what's currently happening. So like this season we saw a lot of the Satanic Panic, right? And the introduction of D&D into like high schoolers and a lot of people thinking, "Oh my gosh, this is like devil worship. This is scary. We shouldn't like let our kids play this." Which is prevalent then. And so I think they like beautifully wove that into the story.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that brings you to another song they could have chosen, would have been like Brain and Blood by Slayer, but
Yeah, you know what? There was a lot of missed opportunity.
yeah, they could have done a lot better, but
Yeah, that's for
it
sure.
was fine.
I mean,
That song is like blowing up now too. It's very popular
yeah,
again.
yeah, yeah. So something that I started noticing, like a little bit later in the season,
Okay.
was some biblical allegory.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, so when I first started noticing this, I believe it was Oh, actually, I was gonna try to remember the episode, but I can't remember the episode. But it was when 11 and Max were in the Upside Down, and Vecna was like there, like he basically like wrapped them up and like tied them to the tree or whatever.
That's the last
But
episode, the very last episode.
oh, it was the very last episode?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. So, but how he had 11 looked like the crucifixion.
Okay, yeah.
Her she was bound by her feet and her wrists. And I think did they had her head too, her head or her neck. Well, now I can't remember, but definitely her wrists and her feet, which like I was like, "Oh my gosh, this looks exactly like the crucifixion to me." So I'm starting to think like, okay, what other like allusions to the Bible like can we see here? You feel?
Yeah.
Okay. So some other things I thought of. So okay, so originally I kind of thought, okay, maybe like Papa is playing God, right? Like he's messing with like human nature and what's happening and harnessing all these powers, but I guess I don't know. Maybe that doesn't totally
Yeah,
make
it's a
sense.
little bit of a stretch, I think.
That might okay. So I'm letting that theory die, but I think maybe what's happening is 11 is God of the
Okay.
Upside Down.
Okay, yeah, that kind
So
of plays into the theory earlier where I had that
right,
she kind of created it when she made the
right,
portal.
exactly. So let's assume 11 is God,
Okay.
and she banishes one slash Vecna slash what was his name?
Victor? No, not Victor.
Victor.
Victor was the old guy.
That was the dad. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't remember
Oh my
his
god.
name.
I know, right? Well, one slash Vecna.
Okay.
She essentially banishes him to the Upside Down or hell, like God banishing Lucifer to hell.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So yeah, we can think of like Vecna as like the fallen angel or whatever. So
Well, yeah, they were always like dressing in white when they were in the thing too.
yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like it was all white and like rainbows like when they were in the playroom and like it's supposed to be this like beautiful like peaceful place. I mean, obviously like that's not what it was, but I think there's kind of an illusion there of this being like a heavenly place and the Upside Down
Yeah, for
being
sure.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of some big things I noticed. So then if we take a look at the characters.
Okay.
Well, let's see how many characters are assisting L. That's not L.
Got Max 1,
Mhm.
Lucas. Hold on, I need to clear my throat.
Okay.
We got to start over.
Okay, that's fine.
I still have like a little bit of a cough.
That's okay. Yeah, are you feeling like fine now?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Okay, I think I'm good.
Okay. So now let's think of all of the characters that are helping L.
Okay, so like
Right.
the final mission or whatever. Like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so got Max 1, Lucas 2,
Mhm.
Erica, Nancy, Steve, Robin, Mike, Jonathan, Argyle, Dustin, Eddie, and Will. So that's 12.
Yes. That's 12.
Like the
12
12
disciples.
disciples, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. So it's all coming together. It's all coming together. I think there's uh I don't know. I started seeing like just so much imagery to the Bible, and certainly I'm no expert in the Bible, but I think some of this stuff I don't know. I just to me was like obvious. So something else that I was thinking about, okay, is what we see in the last episode is kind of an apocalyptic world, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of like the rapture.
Yeah.
So before the raptures, there's the 7 seals that like get broken, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay. So the first four seals are the four horsemen.
Right.
And the four horsemen are conquest, war, famine, and death. So I mean that has more prevalence like in like the Bible, but for the sake of this story, there was supposed to be four victims of Vecna, and Max was supposed to be one of them.
Well, I think
So those are
she's still a victim because
well, okay, yeah,
the
okay,
hole
yeah,
opened and like the whole earthquake thing happened.
that's
So
true. So there's the four victims of Vecna, so the four horsemen. So that's the first four seals. The fifth seal is the wrath of God, I think.
the
The
martyrs,
words.
the
Oh,
martyrs.
the martyrs.
Yeah.
So that, can be like Eddie dying and all of the previous people who died at the sake of, the creatures of the upside down. So I would argue that that is the fifth seal.
Okay.
The sixth seal, I am now drawing a blank on.
That's the natural disasters.
Okay, the natural disasters, right? So we see the the earthquake, like the earth splitting up and there being this
Yeah.
ginormous earthquake. And then the seventh seal is what?
The seven trumpets.
The seven trumpets. Okay, so the seven trumpets. So we don't necessarily hear seven trumpets, but like
The four chimes.
the four chimes of the
Yeah,
clocks
yeah.
that we have been reintroduced. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
It does make a lot of sense now that you mention it.
Yeah.
I think we're on to something here.
I think we are into something. And I've looked at research articles and trying to see videos and stuff, and it doesn't seem like other people have picked up on that. I don't know if it's because it's supposed to be glaringly obvious or because it's not obvious, or maybe I'm just totally making something up.
I don't think it's obvious, but I think that once you look into it, I think it kind of becomes obvious. I think you can make an argument for Max as being like Lazarus as well, because of how she gets revived.
Yes, how 11 brings her back to life, right?
Yeah, because when they were in the hospital and stuff, they really emphasized that she was dead for however long.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, how Max is Lazarus. So I don't know. That was something really interesting. So I wonder if there's going to be more of that imagery in the fifth season, and if there was imagery of that in the first three that I just didn't pick up on.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on it in the first 3 seasons for sure. But I think it was pretty obvious in this season.
Mhm. Yeah, I think just once I saw the scene of her being crucified, I was like, wait. That's got to mean something. That's got to mean something, right?
Yeah, and then everything after just kind of makes sense when you look at it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. So I don't know, that's my theory. That's my theory on Stranger Things Volume 4. So